Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Total Body Reboot Level 2. I'm Dr. Nicole Anderson, and I'm really looking forward to taking you through this class to boost your athletic performance. And joining me today are my Zoom crew class who joined so that we're on Zoom so that I can watch them with their technique and help them to make sure that they're getting the exercises done absolutely perfect. And it's important that you're doing the correct exercises, and you could still be doing the correct exercises to boost your performance and prevent injury, and not doing them right and not realize that you're not doing them right. I see it all the time whenever I go to the gym. And so that's why we do the Zoom class, so that you have the opportunity to get some coaching and get some cueing on your technique. So one of the people in my class right now, she's working on her home program and she's waiting for us to start. And so lean forward just a little bit more, Gretchen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, even a little bit more as you're doing that. So she's doing yes, that's perfect. She's doing an exercise that's not actually something we're going to be doing today, but it's part of what she's working on for her own goals, her personal goals. She's met with me one-on-one to go through that and set up a plan. All right, so that's another thing that you can do. And let's get started. So today I had planned to do, always we do a little bit something new. And you can see if you've been following along and coming to the classes that I'm set up a little different today. And that's because we're going to use a stability ball and we're going to put it against the wall. So if you have a stability ball and you can set yourself up so that you can be near a wall, then that would be ideal. We're going to start out with a warm-up with melt. So we're going to use our melt soft body roller and a melt ball. And if you don't have the melt equipment, you can use a roller, any roller or ball, but the melt equipment is going to be far superior, especially for some of the techniques we're going to do today. So keep in mind that the results that you get from this warm-up, if you aren't using melt, aren't going to be as good, okay? But it's still worth doing. It's better than nothing, okay? So this warm-up that we're going to do right here is especially good for runners, and most sports involve running. So it's especially good for runners, but it's really good for anyone. Okay, so we're going to start out actually with the ball. We're going to use this little soft melt ball. So with melt, the tools are all soft, which is better than a firm tool. And I'll get into why in a minute, but let's just start for a moment with noticing what we feel. So you're just going to notice as you stand which parts of your body are in contact with the ground, which parts of your body are not in contact with the ground. And then we're going to scan upward from our ankles to our knees, from our knees to our hips, and all the way up to our shoulders and our head. And we're just going to notice what we feel, and just notice what you feel without judgment. It's easy to make a judgment about stiffness or pain that you feel and assume that you know why it's there, but it might be there for reasons that you aren't aware of. There might be other causes. Often the place where you feel pain is the victim, not the cause. So I can explain that also in a little bit, but let's just notice. We're going to melt and see what changes. So we're going to have the ball right in the middle of the foot, and we're going to shift our weight from side to side. So the middle of the foot is position point 1. We're just going to shift our weight from side to side. Should feel like pressure, not pain, on the bottom of your foot. Okay, we're going to throw in some bending and twisting. So we want this to feel easy. It should feel like flow. It should feel good, not painful. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. But think of if you've ever seen an animal stretch or a little child under 4 years old stretch. They don't know that there's like certain ways to stretch, right? And they just do what feels good. And we need to move in ways that we don't typically move in order to loosen up areas that get stiff from lack of movement. All right, we're going to move to the ball to position point 1, right under the big toe, okay? And then we're going to move, or sorry, I said 1, I meant 2. Position point 2, and then we're going to go position point 2, each of the first joints of your toes, okay? So pressure on, pressure off, using the soft melt ball. If you're using a hard ball, be gentle. Don't push into pain. If you're using painful techniques to release your soft tissue, then you're not probably getting the full healing effect you could get. I'll explain that in a minute. We're going to go to the highest point of your arch. That's position point 3, and then 3B is going to be just up from there. 4 is over to the outside of the foot. 5 is up to the front of the heel. Okay, and we're going to keep our toes down, work the ball back to the back of the heel. And then work it forward, tightening up the wiggle. Do your Elvis impersonation right here. Okay, and then we're going to keep the heel down. We're going to slide the ball across the foot pad toward the little toe. No pressure coming back. We're going to do that 3 times. That promotes blood flow, flowing in your foot the way that we want it to flow. And then we're going to move the ball from toes to heel, step through. We're going to do that 5 times. Okay, and then we're going to scribble all over the bottom of the foot. This stimulates your lymphatic system. So nice and light. Your lymphatic system is important for healing. It's important for preventing getting sick. And it is also important for promoting flow in your body. And your body cells, and muscles are a cell, nerves are cells. Your body cells are much happier in river-like conditions than swamp-like conditions. So everything we're doing with melt helps to promote flow. All right, let's take a moment and notice what we feel. So give me a wave if you're noticing, oh, wow, I feel like the side that I melted feels more connected all the way through. That whole side just feels more connected. Or maybe it's just your foot, or maybe it's just your knee. But I definitely notice feeling a feeling of warmth in my leg, feeling like that leg is more connected to my body, and it's more connected to itself. Like this side feels like it's kind of in chunks if I compare the 2 sides. And then I'm also noticing that my feet feel more connected to the ground. All right, let's switch sides. We're going to do the other side. So again, we don't want this to be painful. We want it to feel like pressure, not pain. Okay, we're just going to shift our weight from side to side here. Feel like pressure, not pain. And we're going to do some bending and twisting. All right, and then we're going to do 1 press at each first joint, right along your foot pad. We want this to be pain-free pressure. Very important that it's pain-free pressure. Okay, we're going to go to the highest point of your arch, then just below the foot pad, over to the outside of the foot, up to the front of the heel, toes down, work the ball back to the back of the heel, work it forward, tighten up the wiggle. Keep your heel down, slide the ball across the foot pad. We're going to do that 3-4 times. Then we're going to move the ball from toes to heel, step through. This feels really good. Feels like a massage on the bottom of your foot. We're going to scribble all over the bottom of your foot. All right. And then take a moment to notice what you feel. And notice if you're feeling more balanced right to left now than before. That means your nervous system has come into more balance. All right, now we're going to use our Melt Soft Body Roller, and we're going to do some techniques, like I said, that are especially good for runners, but they're good for anyone. And really for anyone that needs to rely on being on their feet. So I think that includes all of us. We're going to have the ball, or the roller, just above our kneecaps. And we're just going to glide here so that we're getting some pressure on, pressure off, stimulating glycosaminoglycans and fibroblasts to pull fluid into your connective tissue matrix so that the layers can slide and glide better. Okay, then we're going to alternate bending and straightening our knees. Toes on the ground, heels in and out. Pause for breath. And we're going to move the roller up to the middle of the thigh. We're going to glide here. This can feel like rocks here. It can feel sore if you have a lot of connective tissue buildup where things have gotten really stuck together. We're going to go ahead and bend and straighten the knees. If you don't have a lot of buildup, it just feels good. Okay, toes down, heels in and out. So that's your little metric. Pause for breath. Just let your tissue adapt to the roller. Move the roller up a little higher. We're going to glide here. And bend and straighten your knees. Put your toes down, heels in and out. Pause for breath. Let the tissue adapt. You can see you don't have to spend a long time. I'm just getting in, getting out. I'm going to shift my weight so that I'm partially turned toward the ceiling, and I'm going to glide right in the upper part of the thigh, and I'm going to bump up right to where that quadricep, that front of thigh muscle attaches on the front of my pelvis. And I'm going to really kind of spend a little time gliding up and down on that to free that up. We're going to be doing some work to strengthen our quads today. I'm going to roll back and forth, pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Somebody's calling me. Don't call me right now. All right. So we're letting that tissue adapt, and then we're going to switch sides. So we're on the front of the thigh, partially turned toward the ceiling, and gliding on that front of thigh. And bumping right up to where that quadricep tendon attaches on the pelvis. And we're going to glide here. It can be sore right in there. But by spending a little time right on this spot, it helps to release everything below. Bend and straighten the bottom leg. Pause for breath. We're going to shift over to where the pocket would be on your jeans. This is your tensor fascial lata. This little muscle with a big name, because it's a little muscle with a big name, this little muscle that does tend to, it's kind of like those little dogs that think they're big dogs. It will try to do the job for your gluteus medius and gluteus minimus when these ones are weaker than they should be. And then when it gets fatigued, then it develops trigger points and pain. So we're going to help it out a little bit by doing some techniques right on it to help it loosen up again. Okay, pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Bend and straighten. Pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Bend and straighten your knee. Leg in and out. Okay, and then switching sides. Tensor fascial lata is our focus again. That's right where the pocket of your jeans would be. We're just going to glide right on that. Bend, straighten your knee. Pause for breath. Let that tissue adapt. You can roll back and forth on it. Okay, we're going to roll right onto the side of our thigh. That's where our gluteus maximus attaches. A lot of people roll out their IT band, because that's what they think they're doing. But if you're up here, you're actually gliding right on where your gluteus maximus attaches, which is important because we want it to be able to function well for us, and doing these techniques will help it to do so. We're going to bend and straighten the bottom leg, pause for breath, let the tissue adapt. The gluteus maximus attaches in, the fibers attach into the iliotibial band, IT band. If you have chronic IT band problems, then the IT band is probably the victim, not the cause. Bend and straighten the bottom leg. The cause is probably weakness in the muscles on the side of your hip and too much tightness on the inside of your leg. Pause for breath, let the tissue adapt. So that being said, we're going to do a quick little touch in on the inside of the leg. So turn your leg out to the side on the right. So we're on the front of the left thigh and we're on the inner thigh of the right. This is just a brief little touch point here, but it does help to work right down by the knee on the inner thigh, helps free up the knee for the techniques we're going to do next. So you can turn your leg in and out, then straighten your knee, pause, let that tissue adapt. We're going to come up to the middle, gliding right there on that inner thigh again. Turn your leg in and out, pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Wiggle your ankle around, then straighten your knee a little bit, pause for breath, switching sides. So we're on the inner thigh on the left now, down by the knee. There's another way to do inner thigh that's more in depth. This is just kind of touching in lightly. Then straighten the knee. We're going to go up a little higher, glide here. Then straighten the knee. Pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. We're going to touch very briefly in on piriformis because that's another victim area. So to touch in on piriformis, you're going to sit this way, put your left hand on your thigh. You're going to glide up and down on the side of your sacrum, just right on the edge of the sacrum here. Okay, we're going to open and close the bottom leg. Pause for breath, let the tissue adapt. Again, piriformis is another one of those muscles that tends to, it's a very small muscle that takes over for bigger muscles that are supposed to be doing its job, or supposed to be doing their job, but they are weak or sleepy, and so then piriformis takes over. All right, we're going to glide right along the edge of your sacrum here. If you find a lumpy spot, just move up and down right on it. Pause for breath, let the tissue adapt. Open and close that bottom leg. You can see I'm getting in and getting out because we're about to exercise. We don't need to spend a long time. Okay, we're going to go down to, if you had an attitude, you'd have your hands on your hips like this. And just below your hip bones, there's a ridge, and that's where gluteus medius attaches, gluteus minimus. And we're just going to glide right along that ridge. You'll see I'm down on my elbow now. So get down on your elbow. Okay, and we're going to glide, or I should say forearm. So get over onto the side too, because that's where gluteus minimus is. Okay, pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. You can open and close that bottom leg to shear. Pause again for breath. You can also shake your body forward and back to shear. And then pause for breath. And we'll switch sides. So we want to loosen this up so it can function better for us. All right, we're gliding right along gluteus medius and minimus here. And you might feel some, as you're doing this, you might feel some little shooting sensations down your leg. That's a good thing if you feel that. It means you're releasing trigger points. Because trigger points can live in gluteus medius and minimus that actually, when triggered, shoot down your leg into your foot, and people can think they have sciatica, but it's not, it's trigger points. And that's easily released. But the reason the trigger points are there, now that's another story. That might require seeing a physical therapist who specializes in looking for that and looking for the root of the cause. We're going to pause for breath here. Breathe. Great. Okay, now for runners, this one is really important, or for anyone who has knees or ankles. So we're going to have the roller just below your kneecaps, and we're going to just glide here, just below the kneecaps. This really only works well with a melt soft body roller. Okay, and then we're going to shift our weight from side to side. And we're going to move our ankles from side to side. And pause for breath. Let that tissue adapt. We're going to roll that roller down lower onto the shin. And we're going to move our ankles side to side. Pause for breath again, just letting the tissue adapt. Move down to the middle of the shin, slide here. Pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Move your ankles side to side. And then move the roller even lower. Again, pause for breath, let that tissue adapt. Move your ankles side to side, and we're going to go all the way from your knees to your ankles. Up and down. If you find a lumpy spot, then go back to that spot and do a little extra work there. It should feel smooth as you go up and down. But don't spend a ton of time on this spot. By the way, this also helps free up your neck. So if you want to test that next time you do it, turn your head, then do this, and you'll notice your neck frees up. Also, it's associated with your adrenal glands right in this area, and so we don't want to spend too much time because it can overexert your adrenals if you spend too much time. We're going to lay on our side, and we're going to bring a little love to our peroneal muscles because they're going to get worked today, so we want them to be able to function well for us. So you rest the roller just below your knee on your shin, and then it's like you're a fishy. You're going to do a little fishy move here. Okay, and you're going to shift forward so that you get kind of on the front of the shin. You're going to shift back so you get back toward the back. This is also really good for anyone that gets back pain to help prevent it or wants to prevent back pain. You can move your ankle around, up and down. Pause for breath with tissue adapt. If it's too intense for you there, you can put the other leg in front on the roller. And sometimes I actually like to do that because then I get a little love on my tibialis posterior, which is an important muscle for runners or for anyone that walks or hikes. And it can use a little love. So then let's just move both ankles around, up and down. Okay, we'll switch sides. So you can work your way all the way down too, not just stay just below the knee, but for sake of time today, I'm just gonna do just below the knee. But if you want to be more thorough, you can do 3 spots, just below the knee, mid shin, and then just above the ankle. Pause, let the tissue adapt, move your ankle around. The other option is to do it this way, and like I said, I actually like to do it this way. I do it this way myself. I do both because I like to get on that tibialis posterior. And lots of pressure and discomfort is not necessarily better. So if you soften your approach to your body, you're going to actually get better releases. It's kind of counterintuitive to athletes because we're used to no pain, no gain. We're used to pushing through pain to get to our goals. But actually, if you soften your approach and if you are more gentle with the barriers in your tissue, then you'll actually find that you're going to be able to get more profound releases, not just right where the tissue is, but elsewhere. Like right now, as I'm laying on the roller and I'm working on my tibialis posterior and my peroneals, I'm also feeling my back release and my hips release a little bit, feeling my knee release, because I'm just kind of in the flow of my fascia, I'm in the flow of my body, and I'm not forcing or straining anything. And if you're watching, you're kind of like, what is she talking about? Then come in for a private session. You'll be able to feel through the body work what I'm talking about as far as flow is concerned. All right, so that's a pretty good warm-up. That's a good starting spot. It's always good to hit calves if you are a runner or if you are a hiker. If you walk a lot, big all the other side, and then just pause, do some circles, and just take a breath and just let your body soften into that roller. You can also cross one leg over and then you're going to get deeper. So it's usually best to start superficial like we just did and then go deep. So we just did some superficial work and then now I'm crossing my right leg over my left and I'm going to go deeper. Turning my toes out to the side, bringing them back over to the inside. So I'm getting on the inside of the calf, the outside of the calf, the middle of the calf. And then just pause, move your ankle around to shear. Pause for breath, let the tissue adapt. Switch sides. Gliding through here. This is a good activation, like warm-up sequence. It's also a good recovery sequence. A couple hours after you exercise. Don't do it right after because you'll be too pumped up to really get results from it. Pause for breath. I switch sides. So switch sides. Glide on the inside of the calf, the outside of the calf. We're going to do a pretty intense workout here for about 30-35 minutes. And this, all this movement prep stuff is going to really help your tissues to be able to function optimally for the workout. I've moved a little lower and down on the soleus now on the right side. And you can do some circles here with your ankle. You can move your leg in and out. Pause for breath. Okay. So I just love melt. I could just melt all morning, but we have a workout to do. So let's do it. All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of a warm-up. It's a dynamic warm-up. I'm going to do an abbreviated version of what I normally do. It's only going to take us about 5 minutes. So ready? Let's go. We're going to bring our knee to our chest. We're going to go up on our toe, back down. Make sure you're going all the way up on your toe, come back down. This workout that we're about to do is not for wimps. It's not an easy workout. So that's my warning. You can get a really intense workout in 30 minutes. So here we go. All right, we're going to bring ankle to your opposite hip. Making sure to go up on your toe. We're going to reach for the sky. Feel that stretch through the front of your body. Great. Okay, we're going to do a fairly complicated lunge. So you're going to bring your elbow toward the floor and listen to your body. Don't push through pain. Okay, then we're swinging through. Rocking back so both the knees get straight. Swing through. Knees up, toes up as you come through. And common things that I see people, mistakes I see people make is their knee will be too far forward. You want to just a slight lean forward, ever so slight. Let's switch legs. Making sure both legs are getting as straight as possible as you rock back. And then make sure you're getting into that crouch position to drive out of it each time. Don't skip that. As you rock back, get right back into that crouch, drive up and out of it. It's easy to skip that little part, not even realizing that you're doing it, because we want to really work on power development in that hip. Good. Okay, we're going to do a backward lunge. So you lunge back, reach back, look at your hand, reach up and over, look forward, drive through. Woo! Almost lost my balance. I did lose my balance. So if you're newer to these movements, you can slow it down. You don't have to move as fast as we are here. So if you're looking back at your hand, tracking your hand as you go, that's a much more challenging activity. It challenges your vestibular ocular reflex, which is a reflex that helps you to know where you are in space when you are moving, or if you are trying to track a ball or something like that. All right, so next we're going to review how to make sure your knee is in the right alignment. So we want the knee to be in line with your second toe whenever we're doing any sort of power activity. So just put your hand on your hips so you can feel those muscles turn on. I don't care if this is the 100th time you've done this. It's like, I don't even know how many hundreds of times I've done this. But it helps you to reconnect your mind with the position that you want that joint to be in when you're going up and down stairs, when you're running, pushing off of your leg, that kind of stuff. Landing from a jump, okay? So, for this next exercise, we want our knee to stay in line with our second toe, and then we're going to slide our hand down our knee, down to our knee, and come back up. So your knee stays in line with your second toe, slide your hand down to your knee, come back up. Your other leg is going to be straight. And I want you to feel those muscles turning on your hip so that you're aware. Okay, and then see if you can go all the way down without bending your back. Try to touch the ground by your toe. Keep your toes down. Keep your toes down, leg nice and straight. You'll feel this working your arch, all the lower muscles of your lower leg, your hamstring, your glutes. That looks really good, Gretchen. All right, let's switch sides. So again, we're going to start with just going to our knee. So you can focus on technique. Focus on keeping your knee in line with your second toe. Noticing what's turning on to stabilize you. Making sure you're kicking that back leg up nice and high. Keeping your back straight. My right side's weaker because I had a recent knee injury, so I'm probably not going to be able to go as far here. So I'm rehabbing it. But just focusing on keeping that knee in line with the second toe, keeping your back straight. Make sure you kick that back leg up. Looks really good, Gretchen. Trying to, you can even progressively try to get lower. Keep testing the boundary, testing your personal boundaries, test the envelope. Very good. All right. I'm doing these out of a little bit out of order from what I have been doing. We're going to do a side lunge, and we're going to make sure we keep our knee in line with our second toe, and then we're going to press up. I like doing it in this order because I was experimenting with it and I noticed I had better glute activation for this exercise when I did the drinking bird, which is the one we did just before this first. So I'm going to change it up. Good, Gretchen. So switch legs. Gretchen already did. It looks like your toe on the left might be pointed out a little bit. Try to make sure it's really straight. Yeah. Okay, so switching sides. Knee in line with the second toe. This is a one where it's really easy to do it incorrectly and not even realize that you're doing that. So I would recommend that you watch yourself in a mirror. Make sure your shoulders and hips are staying in alignment. Knee in line with the second toe. Okay, now this next one that we're going to do, you're going to stand on your left leg and you're going to reach out. So we're trying to get as straight as possible. This is this little dynamic warm-up is really good for before surfing, before running, before any physical activity, before your walk, or just before your day if you want to have your brain more awake, have your body more awake, the muscles awake to support you. Sometimes the brain fog that we have is literally just because we have congested myofascial system. And if you aren't sure about that, next time you have brain fog, if you have a chance, instead of grabbing a cup of coffee, do 5 minutes of melt. And you'll see how things clear up for you just from doing the melt. All right, so then last one is hand walks. We're going to walk our hands out, squeeze our shoulder blades together. We're going to lift one leg, do a push-up, and then walk our hands back, driving our heels to the ground. Let your head hang down, and shake your shoulders back and forth a bit. Walk your hands back out. Switch legs. Push up. Walk your hand. Oh, wait. Now we're going to walk our feet to our hands. Walking our feet to our hands, driving our heels to the ground. Let your head hang down. Let your shoulders shake back and forth. Walk those feet back, driving the heels to the ground. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your right leg. Push up. And we're going to walk our hands to our feet. And again, shake your head, shake your shoulders. So I'm shaking my head, no. No to pain and stiffness, because I'm doing this workout. I'm going to keep it away. I'm going to walk my hands out. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lift the left leg. Push up. We're going to walk those feet to the hands. Driving your heels to the ground. Feel that stretch from heel to hip. And shake your head, shake your shoulders, shake your hips. Think of flow. We're introducing flow to our body. We're going to walk our feet back, driving the heels to the ground the whole way. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Left leg up, push up. Walk your hands to your feet. Head down, shake. Good. We're going to walk your hands back out. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lift your right leg. Push up. Good. Walk your hands back to your feet. Let your head hang down. Shoulders shake. Walking your hands back out. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Left leg up. Push up. Walk your feet to your hands. Feet to the hands. Again, we'll shake. Walk the feet back, driving the heels down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Right leg up. Push up. Walk your hands back to your feet. Shake your head. Walk those hands back out. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Left leg up. Push up. Walk your hands back, or feet back to your hands. Shake your head. All right. Okay, we're done with our dynamic warm-up. Well done. Okay, so we're going to use I'm going to grab my stability ball. Okay, so we're going to lay on our back, put our feet on the ball. So most people who run as a part of their activities, their sport, have overdeveloped quads, underdeveloped hamstrings, and glutes. Okay, so most of us have that. Most athletes have that issue, unless they really work to train it. So this little sequence is going to help you to get the proper activation. So we're going to have our knee bent, left knee bent and back like this. We're going to push our right foot into the stability ball, pulling the heel down, and you'll feel as you push your foot into the ball, toes gripping the ball, and pull your heel down that you're getting glute activation and hamstring. We're going to come up as high as you can, and then we're going to come down. Keep pushing your foot into the ball, keep squeezing your butt all the way down. Keep driving your heel toward the ground and pushing your foot into the ball all the way down. Okay, let's do 2 more of those. Push your foot into the ball. Pull your heel down. Lift up. Squeezing your butt. Getting as high as you can. And then we're going to come down. Keep squeezing your butt all the way down. It's really easy to just let that go at the end and sort of just ride your way down. But then you're not going to get the activation that we want. So push your foot into the ball, pull your heel down, squeeze your butt as you lift up. Okay, and then we're going to come back down, squeezing your butt and pushing your foot into the ball and pulling your heel down all the way down. This is not easy. This is really hard if you do it correctly. And it's going to strengthen your back and your hips. All right, so pushing your foot into the ball, pulling your heel down without sliding. Lift up, squeeze your butt. Okay, and then keep pushing your foot into the ball. Keep pulling your heel down without sliding. Tuck the pelvis as you come down, but keep squeezing your butt. Keep pushing your foot into the ball. All the way down. All the way down. How are you doing, Gretchen?
Have you changed legs? I haven't.
Oh, I forgot to say, yes, I did. So you did one extra. Yeah, I did 3 on one side, and then I'm switching to 3 on the other.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say that. All right, so push your foot into the ball. Squeeze your butt, lift up. So again, focus on the detail of squeezing your butt and pushing your foot into the ball and pulling your heel down as you come down, tucking the pelvis as you come down, so that we're getting some eccentric strengthening of the muscles that stabilize your back and your glutes, your hamstrings. All right, and let's do one more. Squeeze your butt, push your foot into the ball, lift up. You can see I've got my elbows down because I'm trying to work on technique here and full range of motion, strengthening. And if I wanted to work more on balance, then I could put my arms across my chest to challenge that aspect of it. So let's do that next, okay? So next we're going to just work on balance. I'm not going to have you focus quite as much on really all of the squeezing the butt stuff, though it is important. I just want you to focus on lifting your hips up and down nice and smooth. So squeeze your butt as you lift up, push your head into the ground, okay, and then we're going to come down. Okay, and then we'll switch legs. Lift up as high as you can. And come down. Okay, and then switch legs again. Lifting up as high as you can. And coming down. And switch. One more time, switch. And switch. Nice. Okay, then we're going to lift our hips up, arms across our chest. We're going to straighten our legs out. Keep your toes pointing straight up toward the ceiling, so don't let them flop out to the side. That's the number one mistake people make, is they let their feet roll out to the side. You want to keep your toes pointing straight ahead. And if you want to target your hamstrings, you can actually point your toes. That'll target hamstrings, takes calves out of the equation, doesn't let them help as much. Feel the burn. All right, so now we're going to do one of my favorite exercises that doesn't require any equipment. It's called stalking tiger. Okay, so we're going to be on our toes and our hands, and we want our spine to be straight. Okay, and then what you're going to do is press off of that big toe, and this actually strengthens your muscles that stabilize your knee and your ankle. So we want to move nice and slow. And just imagine you're copying a tiger in the jungle, stalking through. So see it, Gretchen. See if you can see how I'm doing this. Almost dragging my hand like a tiger. Try to copy that. Yeah, there you go. Yes. Nice. Key with this is to stay low. Just imagine those National Geographics where you see those cats stalking across the savannah. All right. Now, we're going to lay on our back. We'll have our feet on the ball. And for this one, you can have your hands down for balance or your elbows if you need it. The most challenging version is to be here. I can have my elbows down. So we're going to lift our hips up, feet on the ball. Okay, and then you're going to stretch out your left leg and bring it back. So we're going to do 3, and then switch. Good, and then switch again. 3, and then switch. Do 3. Good, and one more. 3. And again, if you want to challenge your hamstrings more, point your toe. But if you're new to this, I wouldn't recommend it because you'll probably cramp. All right, good. Now we're going to put our elbows on the ball. We're going to be on our knees like this. Make sure our pelvis is forward so that you have a nice straight line from shoulders to knees. And then you're going to go, if you can, up onto your toes. Some people need to stay on their knees. And we're going to do a little pulling, little sawing action, forward and back. Now, if you have the strength, try lifting one leg. And then switch. This is a good, strengthens your quads, strengthens your core. And you can work up to being on one leg for 10 saws and then switch. But the key is to make sure that you're not collapsing through your core as you do that. All right, now we're going to put the ball against the wall. And for this one, we're going to start with a warm-up and just do regular squats. If you can, go just a little below 90. Okay, making sure you're keeping your knee in line with your second toe. Good. Okay, and then we're going to stand on our left leg, put our right leg out in front, and knee stays in line with the second toe. Watch me first. We're going to go down just as far as you can control it. So if you're new and you don't know where that is, start with just about as far as I did right there. Okay, so just a small bit, and you'll notice I was leaning to the side. That's not good. I want to fix that. So you'll see I'm going down on 1, putting my foot down to come up on 2. Keep my abs in. Over time, you get stronger. You're able to go deeper. So Gretchen, right now, you're leaning to the left. So, yeah, good correction. There you go. So if you don't have a mirror, or if you're not in my Zoom class, you won't be able to see if you are compensating. All right, let's switch sides. So you are in charge of how deep you go with this. Keep yourself safe. Do it within a range that's not painful and a range that you can control. Nice. Let's switch sides. So you'll see you have to use your core to stabilize you. Like I said, this is not for wimps. This is not easy. And it's not a beginner exercise at all. Okay, we'll switch sides. Woo! All right. Nicely done. Okay, now we're going to do an exercise that is really good for the stability, whether they're a runner, consider themselves a runner, or whether they are in some other athletic endeavor that involves some running. So I'm going to put this band under my yoga mat. I'm going to put the ball on top of the band. So a lot of people who run, they often do push-ups, sit-ups, and that's about it, and run, okay? And that is not enough because they're not getting adequate activation in the back of their body. They have a lot of problems. They have back pain, knee problems, foot and ankle problems. And it's because they don't have adequate stabilization. When I watch people run, a lot of times I see how they have an imbalance in their core. And the core isn't just the front of your body. It involves the integration of the muscles on the front with the muscles on the back. And there should be balance. There should be equality as far as the strength goes. So this exercise helps to create that balance because we're going to be activating both. All right, so we're going to draw the abs in. We're going to squeeze our butt and tuck our chin and squeeze our shoulder blades together and lift up. Make sure that you're drawing the abs in. Okay. Next, we're going to turn our thumbs toward the ceiling this way. So you're going to have a T. Squeeze your butt, abs in. And if you have a strong back, you can be in this position like this. If your back is emerging in its strength, then you could be here, okay? So squeeze your abs in, squeeze your butt. You can do this without squeezing your butt, but then you're not going to get as much out of it. So make sure you keep squeezing your butt. Keep drawing your abs in. Those are going to want to get lazy on you too and sleepy. Okay? Yes, nice, Gretchen. Okay, next one. Squeeze your butt. Abs in. Elbows are going to be locked right here at the height of your shoulder. Okay? And then we're going to raise our arm up. Try to get the hand level with your elbow. Woo! I'm shaking. Woo-hoo! Woo! That feels good. That was getting a good workout. All right, then the next one, we're going to wrap the band around our hand so that we get some more resistance. Okay, and we're going to squeeze our butt, draw our abs in, and row like this. Going as high as you can. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Okay, take a little rest break for a moment. The next one is even more challenging. We save the best for last. Okay, so the next one, you're going to draw your abs in, squeeze your butt, and we're going to alternate. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, or squeeze the shoulder blade as you bring your arm back. So it's opposite arm, opposite leg. With those abs in. This is going to help you be more efficient. If you're a runner, it's going to help you not to be having extra rotation as you go through your running technique. And if you're a swimmer, it's also really good. Helps you to not have too much rotation. All right, great. So now let's lay on our back and do another set of hamstring curls. We want to make sure we have plenty activation of those hamstrings to prevent knee problems. So we're going to have our elbows down if you need it. If you can do it with your arms across your chest, then good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm not there yet myself. Okay, elbows down. We're going to lift your hips up. We're going to go in and out 3 times. Keep your toes pointing straight ahead. Don't let them roll out to the side. That's a common mistake people make. Switch. We're going to do 3. My goal is that your hamstrings are sore tomorrow. Okay, we're going to switch. Do 3. And then switch again. Doing 3. And if you have really strong legs, you can point your toe so that you isolate hamstring. 3 more on each side. Yes. Good. All right. We're going to stand. And don't adjust your camera, Gretchen, because we're going to come back to the floor. But let's put your feet through the loop. I've seen you do this enough. I know you'll do it right. Okay. So ready. You're going to copy me. All right? So when I move my leg to the right, you move your leg to the right. Okay? And when I move my leg left, you're going to go left. And I'm going back to the right now. Going back. And try to keep your body straight up and down, no leaning. Back. Back. Side. Side. Back. Back. Side. 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 Back. Side. Side. Back. Back. Side. Side. Back. Side. Side. Back. Back. Side. 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 Back. Back. Side. 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 Back. 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 Side. 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 Back. 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 Side. Side. Back. 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 Woo! Woo! Feel that burn. All right. Let's do one more set with the band laying on the roller, on the ball. The second set's usually better. Okay? So make sure you are squeezing your butt, squeezing your abs. Make sure that you are drawing your shoulder blades down and back. And if you have a strong back, you can be here. Okay? And we're going to raise our arms toward the ceiling. So we want to be in a Y as we do that. And you should feel it between the shoulder blades. That's where you should feel it. If you're getting clicking or popping in your shoulder, you need to squeeze that shoulder blade down and back more. We're doing 6. Okay, and then we're going to do 6 T's. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Thumbs up toward the ceiling. Make sure your abs are drawn in and you're squeezing your butt. Okay. And we're going to do our W's. So bring your elbow in line with your shoulder. Rotate. to those. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and just go right to the alternating. So right arm, left leg. So you're lifting the opposite leg. Make sure you're squeezing your butt. Reach that hand back as far back as you can. This is a good one for surfers. Good for runners too, swimmers. Anyone that needs to have stability in their back. So I think that includes all of us actually. We all need stability in our back, right? That's looking good, Gretchen. Love it. Well done. All right. So now we're going to lay on our back on the ball, head on the ball, and hips up. Hips up as high as you can. Your head is on the ball. Okay? Hips up high. And we're going to march. Keeping your knee in line with your second toe. Those hips up nice and high. And if you're feeling that's easy, hold it for like a breath. Good. All right, we're going to roll back on the ball so that your hips are towards the front of it and your lower back is kind of like the ball's pushing up into your lower back. Head in your hands. We're going to arch back, roll forward. Let's do 10 of those. Keep it in a pain-free range. Nice. Take a rest break for a minute. And then we're going to go cross. So we're going to do 5 across to the left, 5 across to the right. 5 in a row to the left. And then 5 in a row to the right. Woo. All right. Let's stretch. We're going to stretch out our calves and our hip flexors. Make sure your toes are pointing straight ahead. And I'm actually going to switch legs so I can demo stretch better. So you want to feel that stretch in the front of your hip, and you're going to feel it less so in the calf. But you'll feel it a little bit in the calf. And as we sit in the stretch here for about a minute, you're going to feel it more creep into the calf. Let's rotate a little bit, up and over. Take 3 breaths here. I did 4 because I just felt like it. So you want to hold a stretch for a minute because that is what allows the elastic barrier in the fascia, the elastic component of the fascia, to begin to elongate. None of this 2 or 3 sets of 30 seconds business. Hold it for a minute. And that's based on research too. So if you're questioning it, look it up. All right, let's switch sides. So many things in fitness and even in physical therapy have been passed down through the generations because Nobody took the time to look it up, but there's been so much research done, especially in the last 30 years, and so question everything, question it, look it up, see what the recent research says. I do my best to stay apprised of what is current in the research. There's new stuff coming out all the time. If you find something and it doesn't jive with what I'm saying, send me the research article. I'd love to see it. I always want to learn and grow as a clinician, guiding you with the best possible techniques and approaches. So you'll find when you stretch, if you just push right up to the barrier and wait, it will begin to give, and then you can just feel and follow that, rather than trying to blast through the barrier when you stretch. Because if you try to blast through when you stretch, then it's going to hold against you, and you're going to feel a strong stretch, but you're not going to be getting as much length as you could be getting if you had a more gentle approach. Okay, let's do our sumo squat. We're doing a sumo squat hold, so we're going to hang out here. Just let our hips sink into that. And if this is difficult for you, then it's something to aspire to, it's something to work toward. Hold on to something to help you at first, but it promotes optimal flexibility in your hips and in your lower back. And I say this all the time, but it's good to say because we need to hear it. Sometimes we need to be reminded how important things are. Do this every day, at least once a day, to keep your hips nice and mobile. Because most of the hip replacements in this country and in Western society are happening because of a lack of keeping your hip joint as mobile as it should be. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And if you're not stressing it into that full mobility and range, then it just gets tighter and tighter. And then as it gets tight, then the bones begin to wear on each other because of the tightness of the joint, the tightness of the soft tissue around the joint. And then that's what leads to a hip replacement. So you can prevent it by taking good care of your body. And if you really just can't get into this position, then an alternative would be to do this to start with. Okay? But the sumo squat, it's a great combination because it's strength and flexibility. So if you can do it now. Keep doing it so you don't lose it. All right? Okay, so that's it for today. Glad you guys joined on social media. Glad that you joined in the Zoom class. It's always a pleasure to work out with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And so I'm going to say goodbye on social media for now, and I'm going to wrap up with my Zoom class, get their takeaways, their aha moments, answer any end of class questions that they have. And if you're interested in joining that class, just go to andersonswpt.com. You'll be able to sign up for the class. The first week is free, and experience some coaching if that's something that you would like. Also some accountability. Some of us need that. All right, so goodbye. Have a great day.